So when we're talking about the fascial system too, it's one piece of tissue, right? But what it is made up of a very simple parts. It's three parts that make up fascial tissue in any way. There is what we call collagen. You'll see that in a lot of different lotions and stuff. They'll say, "Oh, collagen." But collagen is the firm. It's like the girders or the structural supports. So it's very stiff and tough. It has also a fiber called elastin, and much like the name is, it's elastic. It's stretchy. It allows the opening and closing and the stretching and lengthening of the body. Those two pieces, that lattice work that it creates, floats within what we call the ground substance, or in even deeper terms, the extracellular matrix. So it's all floating in this gel, and that's in essence the water that we're made of, right? We're 70% water, 80% water. We're made up, and that's that ground substance. And that is what is beginning to solidify and create problems and pressures onto these structures of the body. And when we talk about myofascial release, that is the structure or the portion of the fascial system that we are attempting to change.
Mm. So as you were reading my mind, I was going to bring you back to exactly what that is, because if that's everywhere, and as you and I both know it is, but that's where our water is, right? And that's where our nerves are, and that's where our blood vessels sit through, and just interwoven all the way down to recently seeing around the DNA as well. So it's everywhere.
Well, I will. So that's where so it's a very exciting time to be involved in fascia of any kind, especially fascial research, because people like John Barnes and Ida Rolf and oh God, I'm missing all the other names, but these bodywork visionaries that are out, all the way going back to the father of osteopathic medicine, Andrew Taylor Still. We're talking about the connected tissue system of the body. We're talking about fascia. But John specifically was incredibly intuitive in understanding what was happening under his hands and beginning to investigate it. And he then theorized and hypothesized many processes and what's happening at that tissue level. How are we affecting it? How is it being affected? Yada, yada, yada. That are now being met out by a lot of the new research, because there is an explosion of research currently in the fascial system that is kind of showing all of these things that we've been talking about as body workers is being shown to be so important. But there is still a break between the cellular wall. So I said it interpenetrates every single structure down to the cell, and there are what we call integrins, so proteins that span that cell wall into the nucleus of the cell. And that goes into some much more technical stuff, but how issues with the fascial system and that solidification of the ground substance can literally start to create problems cellularly. And that is what we are thinking and seeing is what is being involved in DNA transcription, in cellular functions. But John will say the cytoskeleton, so the girder frame of the cell itself, if we go back to our biology classes, is also fascia. But then I'll talk with Carol Davis, Dr. Davis, and she'll say, nope, I'll argue with them every single time because it's not collagen, elastin, and ground substance, right? And if it's not that, it can't be fascia. So there's always going to be, like in science, these disagreements. But the point being, it's still affecting us down to the cellular level.
Right. Well, thanks for clarifying that. I appreciate that so much.
Second clarification, sorry.
No.
The new what you've referenced it several times because there was that firestorm of press coverage in 2018 where they discovered this new organ and they were calling it interstitium. Because interstitial means in between the spaces between. So interstitial spaces are spaces in between the cells and such.
Gotcha.
So they called it interstitium, and they're like, it's brand new. And then everyone said, no, it's not. And Dr. Guimberto, who I think we're going to talk about, actually wrote a real firebomb letter to the researchers saying that they should have done maybe a better literature review before publishing their supposed findings of this new organ.
Well, absolutely, because as you and I both seen through our own journeys and our own schooling, that citing people appropriately is very important in the academic world. So, absolutely should have done that. And I realize if I'm saying it wrong, then I probably have it spelled wrong on my website. So I'm going to fix that, because I thought it was interstitial, because I know that's what I hear whenever I call my Jefferson, for my appointments and stuff for breast cancer. They say interstitial, not.
They do, because they're talking about the spaces in between, which is a known quantity.
Yeah.
But they took the term interstitial because they were seeing this organ in between the cells, and they go, what is this? What is it? What's that? And it had more to do with the new type of laser technology they were using for imaging, from what I've gathered. So it was still good that they were finding it. Where they went wrong was when they said, it's new, we've never, no, it was just, it's a new way of seeing it.